Hi there, my name is Dylan Plotkin, and here are my top 10 quarterbacks in NFL history. Number 10 is Steve Young. Steve Young started off as a backup, actually, on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he eventually got traded to the San Francisco 49ers, and he was the backup of Joe Montana there for a good 3 seasons. And then he got his chance, and he never looked back and took that chance. He just was amazing for San Francisco. He won an MVP. He won the Super Bowl MVP. He defeated the San Diego Chargers in a Super Bowl in 1995. He also is one of the best rushing quarterbacks ever, one of the best running quarterbacks ever. So Steve Young is my number 10. My number 9 is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a 2-time NFL MVP and 1-time Super Bowl MVP. He won the Super Bowl in 2011, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, at first, was the backup to Brett Favre. He learned really well from him, and Brett Favre, by the way, not on my list, but also one of the best quarterbacks we have ever seen. So Aaron Rodgers is my number 9. Roger Staubach has a very interesting football life. He started in the Navy, actually, and was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, but didn't originally go to the Cowboys at first because he had to serve 2 years in the Navy first, then go to Dallas. After his Navy career ended, he went to Dallas, and the rest is history. 4-time Super Bowl winner and one of the best players in the Cowboys franchise. My number 7 is Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw was part of one of the greatest dynasties in football history. He won 4 Super Bowls in a 6-year span, which is really unbelievable. For that reason only, he's for my number 7 and one of the greatest quarterbacks we have ever seen in this game. My number 6 is Drew Brees. Drew Brees is still playing today, actually. Very old. He's over 40 years old now, but still amazing. Saints are doing great right now. They're 13-3 and are playing in a wild card game. The reason why he's at number 6 for me is that he started off a little slow in his career for the San Diego Chargers. But ever since getting traded to the Saints, he just was amazing ever since. He won 1 Super Bowl during the year of Hurricane Katrina, which is one of the best moments in football history. He's a 1-time Super Bowl MVP, and recently he just broke the touchdown pass record, which is unbelievable. John Elway was a quarterback for the Denver Broncos and was the number 1 pick out of the draft, and he went to Stanford University. He was also, by the way, he was drafted by the Yankees, actually. He had a choice between baseball and football. And of course, we know he chose football, which is probably the best decision he ever made. In his time of his playing, he won 2 Super Bowls and was just one of the best quarterbacks we have ever seen, one of the most talented quarterbacks we've seen. He had a great arm and was a 1-time Super Bowl MVP, but won 2 Super Bowls in 1998 and 1999. For those reasons, John Elway is my number 5. This one might shock you. Dan Marino has 0 Super Bowls, but why is he my number 4? Dan Marino, if he played for a better franchise other than the Dolphins, he would have won so many Super Bowls. I mean, his talent was through the roof. He's just one of the greatest quarterbacks we've seen. He won 1 MVP, 1984, and carried the Dolphins franchise till he retired in 2000. For those reasons there, Dan Marino is my number 4 on my list. My number 3 is Peyton Manning. His stats are ridiculous. Peyton Manning won 2 rings for 2 separate teams. He won 1 for the Indianapolis Colts and 1 for the Denver Broncos. He was drafted number 1 overall out of Tennessee by the Colts, and just his career was amazing. He was expected to be great, and he lived up to his expectations. He was just an unbelievable player. He was a 5-time MVP, which is the most in NFL history by far, and he was just one of the most accurate and most talented quarterbacks the game has ever seen. For those reasons, he's my number 3. Joe Montana has 4 Super Bowl rings and was a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Just unbelievable. His nickname was Joe Cool for a reason. He was just very calm and poised when he was playing the game and was just loved by the fans and one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. He's also a 3-time regular season MVP, which is unbelievable. His stats are great, but he's not as good as our number 1. Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowl rings and is a 4-time Super Bowl MVP and a 3-time regular season MVP. He's part of the greatest dynasty that we have ever seen in sports history, in my personal opinion. I mean, the Patriots have been dominant since the early 2000s, and they don't seem like they're slowing down at all. And they would not be anywhere without Tom Brady. For those reasons there, he's my number one. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.